Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Mikey's Saturday Nightmares. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the last video I put out where we talked about Beverly Hills Cop, the original first film. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely go back and check it out. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about a film that's more recent than some of the other ones I've done on the channel. This is actually a viewer submitted film that they wanted me to discuss on the channel. So we're going to jump into a film that came out on December 9th of 2010, and it was directed by a fellow by the name of Eli Craig. Now, Eli Craig has directed such films as The Tao of Pong in 2004, and I believe I'm pronouncing that title correctly. He also directed a little film called Little Evil in 2017, and I believe that's actually on Netflix, or was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. And he also directed the horror Clown in a Cornfield that came out in 2025. That one I'm highly anticipating to watch. I think I'm actually going to watch it tonight after I finish this, because I've been wanting to watch it since I saw the trailer for it. So I'm definitely going to check it out, especially now that I know it was directed by Eli Craig. And I absolutely love this film that we're going to talk about tonight. The film we're going to talk about tonight, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Now, this is not really what you would say a full horror film. It's a comedy horror. And that's fine. That's fine. I love comedy horror films. Shaun of the Dead was fantastic, just to name one. And I'm sure this movie was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Now, this film stars Tyler Labine, who plays the character of Dale, and he's also played in such films as My Boss's Daughter from 2003 with Ashton Kutcher. He's also played in Zack and Miri Make a Porno in 2008, and that was with Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks. And he also played in Super Troopers 2 from 2018.
Obviously, I would need a ladder to fuck a moose, but I would find one, and I would fuck that moose.
Now, I have not seen Super Troopers 2, but I have seen the first one. The first one was downright hilarious. And I'm definitely, after watching the trailer for the sequel, I definitely want to check it out now. And the film also stars Alan Tudyk, who plays the character of Tucker, and he's also played in such films as Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter from 2012. He also played in A Knight's Tale in 2001 with Heath Ledger.
Fine. Betray us, and I will phone you until your insides are out. Your outsides are in. Your entrails will become your extrails.
And he also played, or lent his voice more or less, to I, Robot from 2004 with Will Smith. I never knew he was even in I, Robot. Never knew. And I need to go back and watch that Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, because that was an excellent film. I'm going to go back in there and check and watch that and see if I can spot him in that film, because I don't remember seeing him in that. And the film also stars Christina Bowden, who plays the character of Allison, and she's also played in such films as Sex Drive from 2008. That was a awesome comedy. I love that movie for some reason. Just something about that film. I love it. She also played in American Reunion in 2012, and that was one of the sequels to The American Pie, of course. And she also played in Piranha 3D, or 3 Double D, I'm sorry, 3 Double D in 2012. And with an honorable mention, Brandon J. McLaren plays in this film. And I didn't recognize him at first, but he's also played in such films as Dead Before Dawn, Sea Beast, which was a Sci-Fi Pictures original film, and he also played in Power Rangers SPD. Now, I wasn't a fan of any of the other. Well, Dino Thunder was good. I like Dino Thunder. But any of the other variations of the Power Rangers, I really found it hard to tie in with. But I'm a fan of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the Zeo Rangers. So it was interesting to realize that he played in this film. This is a great film, though. A great film. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into the trailer for Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Here we go.
Oh, jeez. Whoa, Jesus.
Did you see the way those guys looked at us?
Who wants to go skinny dipping?
No!
We got your friend!
They captured Allison!
Oh, it's the pancakes. You hate pancakes. I'm gonna make you something else.
What am I doing here?
Fell into the water. I dove in and rescued you.
We'll go find your friends. You should relax. Tucker and Dale are on the case.
What is this place?
It's just a cabin. It doesn't mean they're psycho killers.
Then why don't you go in there and talk to them?
All right. Maybe I will. I said maybe.
Dale, what are you doing?
I'm digging a crapper hole.
You mind if I help?
He's making her dig her own grave.
There's no rules out here. It's us against them.
Oh, good. Look, your friends are here. Are you okay? Leave behind! Run! We're going to be alive!
Saw your friend out there. He must be allergic to bees or something because he was running like a bat out of hell.
This is a suicide pact. These kids are coming out here and they're killing themselves all over the woods.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
The girl that we have, she can maybe explain the whole thing.
You've got another one inside.
Yeah, she's in my bedroom.
Heads up.
Oh, you gotta take the safety off on the side there.
Don't do that. Start being more careful. Time to die, freak. Fire!
Stop, double rope!
No, don't use that.
Let's get you down from there.
Wait.
Sorry about that. This vacation sucks.
All right, that was a trailer for Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I forgot to read the plot before I introduced the movie trailer, so let's go back and do that. Affable hillbillies Tucker and Dale are on vacation at their dilapidated mountain cabin when they are mistaken for murderers by a group of preppy college students. So that's the premise for the film. And it's a hilarious film. I thoroughly enjoyed that film. I've watched it, I don't know, 4 or 5 times already. And I've watched a lot of people on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube, react to the movie. Some of them that have reacted have been Tara's Never Seen. She's reacted to it. I believe. I think she was one of them. EOM Reacts, which I mentioned last week, is one of my favorite YouTubers that I like to watch for movie reactions, and he also does video games and music that he's never listened to before. So he's a great guy. He's not afraid to tell it how he sees it or how he feels. He's not afraid to let it out. He's fantastic to watch. So Tucker and Dale course, like I said, it was directed by Eli Craig. He brings the gore and the humor with great special effects and wonderful acting to what I first feared to be an unsustainable premise, and they give it surprising energy and humor. When I first watched the trailer for this film, I kind of, I don't know, I wasn't really fond of the trailer for the film. And at first I didn't really want, wasn't really going to check it out and watch it. And I seen a lot of people on YouTube that were reacting to it and claiming that they loved it. So that kind of led into me actually checking the film out. And I'm so glad I did. So glad I did. This movie is not only inventive and fresh, it has a beautiful heart. Labine and Tudyk are the hillbillies in this hilarious tale of prejudice and paranoia, and their performances are grounded and authentic. There are so many like southern one-liners in this film, and it just pushes their character that much farther, making them more believable. Um, and it's funny. It is so funny. Tucker and Dale's journey is filled with surprises and wonderful, subtle moments that give the film a fun trajectory and at a brisk pace. An especially guilty pleasure is the character of Chad, brilliantly played by Jesse Moss, who channels some alternate universe of a sociopath Tom Cruise as the lead baddie, I guess you would call it. The lead frat boy. I'm sorry, he's the lead frat boy in the film, and does an excellent job of playing the baddie. The cast is superb in this send up of the Psycho in the Woods genre. The last trust the cast trusts the writing and the director, and it truly pays off. If you live in the southern United States and hate how southern folk and hillbillies are exploited for horror purposes, you'll love this tremendous twist on a very overused and ill conceived cliche. This is a truly hidden treasure that certainly did not get enough publicity before and during its release. This horror comedy is a bloody good time and a great film for comedy and slasher fans alike that deserves its cult status. I think it's pretty amazing that a film that came out in 2010 just straight shot up to cult status. But this film truly deserves it. I mean, it uniquely, like I said, it uniquely combines slasher with comedy. And the cast is amazing. Just totally amazing. They couldn't have found a better cast to play in this film. It was released, I think, by Magnet Entertainment, um, which they've had a lot of films that are hit or miss. But this one was definitely a hit with me. Definitely a hit with me. I thoroughly enjoyed this film so much. Dale is such a soft-hearted fellow in this film. That's just his character. He's kind. He's pretty much understanding, and he just goes that extra mile for anybody over anything. Um, he's got a good heart, and it really plays well in this film. Um, Labine plays it perfectly. And Tudyk, I mean, he's played in so much stuff. Tudyk has played. He's lent his voice to cartoons, video games. He's been in movies. I mean, he has done it all. Um, and he's fantastic. He's a fantastic actor. All right, so now it is time for us to move on in the video here. Yeah, I know it seems like it's going pretty quick. I apologize if I feel like I'm rushing through it. Um, but now it's time for our movie trivia, and we're going to look it right up here, and I'll read some of it off to you, what I've got jotted down in here. I always go through and I make little notes, that way I know what to talk about when I do the trivia. So let's see. We gotta find Tucker and Dale. My notes for Tucker and Dale. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I couldn't believe how good this movie was. Like I said, when I first watched the trailer to it, I really wasn't going to give it a watch because I wasn't really sure what it was going to be like. Because a lot of the horror comedies are just not that great. Let's be honest, some of them are just not that great. But I'm definitely glad that I watched this film. All right, here we go. Tyler Labine, who plays the character of Dale, chose the Giver hat. He has a hat that says Giver on it to wear as Dale for two reasons. First, it looks like the word giver, alluding to his kind and generous nature. Second, it is the Canadian equivalent of get her done, the redneck phrase popularized by Larry the Cable Guy. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Pretty much. I mean, he plays that character so well, so well. Okay, towards the end of the movie, when Tucker and Dale are reminiscing about catching frogs at the creek, Dale mentions that he used to lick the frogs. Tyler Labine actually did lick a toad in a small role he had on a movie called Quagmire in 1996, 14 years prior to Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I've never heard of Quagmire, so I didn't. I've never seen it. Okay, a rough cut of the film was leaked, which revealed various moments when lines are dubbed and when post production effects are used. Okay, that's pretty cool. Um, a scene in which a character runs with a chainsaw is a parody homage to the film Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. There's several different scenes in here in the film that comes up and could be considered as a parody or excuse me, or a way that they're paying homage to previous films. So you'll see a lot of that in this film. You might pick up on them. Let's see. When Dale and Tucker save Allison from drowning, they shout out, "Hey lady," which is a nod to Jerry Lewis in The Ladies' Man from 1961. That's neat. That's neat. Let's see what else we got here. Here's another one. Towards the end of the film, when Chad falls to the ground and is presumably killed, the shot of him laying on the ground is homage to Halloween from 1978. That's neat. That is neat. Let's see. Here's one you might want to catch. In the closing credits, the credit for construction foreman is misspelled as construction foreman. They left off the E in foreman when they spelled it the way it's supposed to be. They spelled it Forman in the credits, so it was misspelled. That's pretty cool. Jesse Moss, who plays the character of Chad, and Shalene Simmons, who plays the character of Chloe, were both in Final Destination 3 from 2006. Now, I actually had to go back and look that up and make sure. And yeah, they were in there. I'm not saying that IMDb would lie to you, but I had to go back and actually watch the movie to find out where they were in that film. And yeah, they were in there. They were in there. There was something else I saw in here earlier, and I'm trying to find it. And I just wonder if it was here or not. Here it is. A special feature on the DVD plays the movie from the college kid's perspective, in which Tucker and Dale are murderous villains. I'm going to have to dig my DVD out and just check that out because I never noticed that. I did actually buy it on DVD. I'm going to have to check that out. That sounds pretty cool. To actually be able to see it from a different perspective. It says here the opening scenes on the road of the film were shot during a thunderstorm. I don't know why that would be so interesting, but anyways, it's in here. Let's see. When the nail gun is used as a weapon, it is actually hooked up to an air compressor, and Dale can be seen holding down the safety tip on the front of the gun with his fingers. Without both of those actions, the nail gun would not fire. The handling of the device is very accurate. That's interesting. That's interesting. And finally, when Chuck runs off to get the sheriff, he clearly trips in the background, but the scene cuts before he hits the ground. So evidently that was just something that they didn't want to have in the film. It was just an accident, and they didn't want to leave it in there, so they just cut that scene right before it shows him hitting the ground. That's pretty neat. Oh, this one here says it might be the only horror film where all the deaths are accidents except the flash forward at the beginning of the film. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. I never thought of that. Yeah, it might be. It might be. All right, so there's the trivia for that film. Like I said, this is a fantastic comedy horror type film. The kills in the film are quite, are pretty graphic, especially in the flash forward scene at the first start of the film. Um, those are pretty graphic there. And I love how they take time to pay homage to some of the other horror slashers before this movie came out. It's always nice to see films go back and pay homage to other films that paved the way for the films we get today. Um, that's always pretty cool. I enjoy watching those when they do that kind of thing. All right. Like I said, if you've never seen this film before, definitely check it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, especially if you're a fan of comedy and horror, or either or just looking for something cool, something good to watch. That's not strictly horror and a slasher. This is a great film to watch. Um, Tucker and Dale their characters are fantastic in this film. The whole cast is great. You'll enjoy it. So with that being said, we're going to end the video here. Coming up next week, I got some good ones coming up next week. Um, we'll get back on track again like we have been so far this week. Well, with the exception of the classic buffet, because the YouTube gods were not being kind to that one, but I did get it out anyways. But next week, I will be back with you guys on Wednesday for a classic movie buffet theater, and then once again Saturday for Mikey's Saturday Nightmares. So until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Be safe, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.